Good morning and welcome back to Cover Your Assets. We've got Derek Walgrave, Craig Nestor, and Todd Rooker here in the studio. CoverYourAssets21.com. Great place to go visit for the Financial Crisis Bible. You need that if you're in one, if you are afraid you're going to be in one, and if you want to avoid ever being in one. CoverYourAssets21.com. And guys, today, on account of the new now Get Control of Your Numbers, we've got a great guest, Craig.
Well, one of the favorite things about Cover Your Assets for me, and I'm speaking for myself, is all the guests on our show are truly game changers. And what I mean by that is when our clients spend time with them, their life alters. And they are very powerful people. They are best in class. And, a couple weeks ago, we had Jesse Kybor from Daniels & Wymore, who takes on the biggest banks and their law firms and wins and creates precedent in state court for families. Brad Kaplan from Kaplan Insurance, who are saving families money and strengthening their foundation in a storm. So we have these wonderful, powerful people that can make a difference in your life that most people don't even know is possible. And today's guest, Todd, is no exception to that.
Everybody that I am honored to work with is someone that I have spent a lot of time doing research on in many of the areas. When I give a client over to a referral, it's never flip the business card to them and say, hey, you might want to call this person. I give that client, if they're going to pay me $250 an hour for my advice, when I talk with them, I give them the background of the person. I tell them what makes this person exceptional in their field, and I'm humbled to be able to work with them. But I am, like everybody else, concerned with credibility that you work so hard to build. And the last thing you want to do is give your client over after having won that credibility and then have that person undermine it. So I'm very conscious of the fact that the people that I work with are going to enhance my credibility because they are so good. They are absolutely phenomenal. Arliss fits in that category. I've never had anybody come back to me and tell me they don't want to work with Arliss. To the contrary, they say, this is the best CPA I've ever had. I wish to God I'd have met this person 10, 20 years ago. She's phenomenal. And, I will say I am honored to work with her, and I always feel confident when I refer somebody to her that I know that they're going to be in very capable hands. Arliss has taken the classes that I've taught. We work perfectly together. She knows what I do. I know what she does. And the marriage between client and the practitioners that sit around the table here is a synergistic one. So with that, Arliss, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do and what makes you unique in the field of tax planning.
Don't feel any pressure, really, honestly.
Okay, I'll try not to. Thank you very much, Todd. I appreciate all of the wonderful referrals that you have given me over the past 3 years that we have been able and fortunate enough to work with each other. One of the things that I really do specialize with my firm is really getting to understand and know the client. Being a good CPA is really understanding what it is their goals and dreams are, and more importantly, what it is that they have lived through so that I can help advise them both on a financial level and also on a spiritual level as to what it is that they want to get out of their financial future. Where do they want to go? What do they want to do? And how are we going to be able to get there? I ask the questions to those clients that they, in a lot of cases, haven't even thought of. And I force them to do a lot of soul searching, and I force them to talk together with their spouses or with their family or with their whoever it is that they want to have this future with, and really help them decide what it is that we want to do and then how we're going to get there. And we always have to remember, even though we don't like it, is that the government is our partner in our business. And we have to set aside money for him first because he gets paid no matter what. And when he doesn't get paid, that's when their trouble becomes very huge.
I like to always say, show me self-employed people, and I'll show you people with tax problems. People tend not to do tax planning at all. Even self-employed people, they will unload their stuff at the end of the year, and surprise, surprise, they wind up owing $20,000, $30,000, and then they start rolling that debt. When you look at tax planning, you've got to recognize that when you've got ebb and flow in income, especially with self-employed people, that tends to cause people to go without making payments or make minimum payments on personal expenses, and then when they get paid the big month, then they'll go ahead and pay everything down, but they always forget about their taxes. So they tend to have their business and their personal lives segmented out as though they're autonomous. They are not. They pay themselves a revenue stream. They forget about paying taxes, and they've got big problems. So they roll these tax liabilities from month to month, year to year, and consequently, it's not a big surprise that you'll find people who are very successful in their businesses but will have rolling tax liabilities that are $20,000, $30,000, $60,000. And so proper tax planning with somebody like Arliss, it's not about going to see him at the end of the year. It's about sitting down with somebody and strategically planning to make certain that you've escrowed the proper amount of tax liability forward, so at the end of the year you don't get hit with a big bill. That's the major issue that you're always going to encounter with people.
And Todd, you just said something that some people find hilarious. You talk about tax planning, and the only plans that most people have about taxes is hoping not to have to pay a bunch of them. So when you want to choose somebody to be on your team, and be realistic, because I know everybody sitting at this table is an entrepreneur. We're all self-employed here. So I have recently had to go look for my own CPA, and it's terrifying. How do you start looking for somebody? And you talked about, well, I like to counsel people, but we just see these names with letters attached to them, and it's frightening. What would you tell someone to ask when they're calling a firm to interview them?
One of the things that I think is really important when you're looking for a CPA is to, first of all, figure out what it is that you want to get out of your CPA. What do you expect from them, and how available do you want your CPA to be?
I want them all the time, and I don't want to pay any tax.
Okay.
Zero.
I wish that you were unique in that, but you're not. Unfortunately, a lot of people want the biggest bang for their buck. And I agree that that's a really important aspect when you're looking for a CPA is how much can you afford and how much are you willing to be able to set aside for that accounting service that is so critical to you running your business successfully. When there's lots of services that are out there as far as TurboTax and different types of programs, and the thing that a CPA offers that none of those programs offer is that hands-on, really understanding you, how you function, how you financially plan for your future, and what it is that you want in your goals. TurboTax isn't going to ask you that. TurboTax is a great program for some people, but there is a very special need for a business owner to work with a CPA or even an individual to work with a CPA to be able to make sure that their taxes are being done correctly and they're getting all of their deductions.
Wasn't that it? Isn't with the CPA that we have an opportunity then for a return on our investment?
Absolutely.
Instead of just a TurboTax and whatever the box says is what
Correct.
the box says.
Yep.
So by seeing a CPA, I have an opportunity then to live in such a way where there are less implications at the end of the year. Can
Correct.
you talk about that a little bit?
Well, one of the things that I always tell people is, what do you value your time? I will have clients that will come to me that have used TurboTax, and they will bring me their TurboTax program and print it out, and they say, will you review this for me? And I take a look at it, and I review it, and I go, okay, well, for starters, you missed this deduction and this deduction and this deduction. And now let's talk about how long it took you to put your information into TurboTax and to do the interview. And they're like, well, it was about 7 hours. And I'm like, okay, so how much is your time worth? Would you rather pay my firm to catch all of the deductions that you missed and not to have to do the taxes other than bring your information into me? I found that being very, very useful. Clients realized they weren't putting a value on their time. And once they started putting that value on their time, it became much more beneficial for them to have a CPA.
Arliss, put a value on my money. I mean,
Absolutely.
We talked today about the clients that we see and some specific examples of how our service makes a difference. Let's talk about that for you. I mean, walk us through a client experience.
Client experience would be I service a lot of different types of clients. I learned over the course of the last few years that I really had to balance my clientele between clients that were in financial distress to clients that were being very successful and wanting strategic type of planning. So I learned to work with having a balance between 20% of my clients being distressed because they needed a large amount of my emotional energy to help them with their tax planning and with their financial planning. And then 20% of my clients being very successful, very entrepreneur, very intelligent, and needed less of my emotional strength, but now all of my CPA expertise. And so I believe that a well-balanced clientele mix is a perfect scenario for a firm.
I see people who are doing money management, and I'm not going to invest the person's money, but I'm going to help them create more money within a personal household budget so that they've got more money to go see the financial advisor to work with. Part of the problem is people think that the money that they've got to invest with is actually tax liability that they've not accounted for. So when you do a comprehensive money management budget with a person, you've got to include the tax liability so that you realistically understand how to spend less than you make and what do you have available to go and see what do you have for investment dollars. So always looking at the tax liability throughout the course of the year, not just simply at the end of the year. That's the tax planning that I have to concern myself with when I'm helping managing people's day-by-day money and cash flows to try to have money to work with in the first place.
We speak here of the prosperity triangle where we have people that are in different places, and there's people that are in a crisis, and there's people that are in the same river, and there's people that are going against the stream doing well. So you have the same clients. Do you have a specific client that sticks out that you'd like to share with us today?
Well, I have a lot of variety of clients. I would say one specific client, and it would refer to a client that was in a financial distress. They came to me very embarrassed, very emotional, very upset, not knowing what they were going to do, not having a clue what their future meant for them. And one of the things that I really sat down with them is I went over their future, looked at their past, and I asked them some really tough questions. And those questions were, what do you want to get out of your life? What do you want your future to be 6 weeks from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now? Once you answer those questions, now I can put together a plan for you, and we can determine how we're going to get there.
Is it any wonder Arliss and I work so well together?
Not at all. Not surprising. CoverYourAssets21.com. Hit us online. You can download a copy of the Financial Crisis Bible if you want to avoid one, if you're in one, or if you're thinking maybe it could happen to you at some point. CoverYourAssets21.com and live 855-835-8500. More with Todd Ricker, Craig Nestor, and Derek Walgrave coming up.
It's too soon to see if I'm happy in your hands. I'm unusually hard to hold on to.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Does your business need money? If you own a business and need more money to grow, I have your solution. I want to invest in you first and give you an opportunity to receive a free 45-minute consultation to share with you how you can get business lines of credit now for your business with our trained business credit experts. I'm Scott Letourneau, the CEO and founder of Fast Business Credit and Nevada Corporate Planners. Over the past 14 years, I've helped thousands of business owners get business lines of credit now to get off to a fast start to profits in their businesses. Take the next step and call our offices at 888-627-7007, 888-627-7007 to schedule your free 45-minute consultation, or go to getbusinesslinesofcreditnow.com. Again, getbusinesslinesofcreditnow.com.
Is it possible to buy real estate in your IRA or 401k? Absolutely. Hi, I'm Todd Grill, president of Entrust Midwest. We are the leading third-party administrator for self-directed IRAs and 401ks in the upper Midwest. We provide the record-keeping, administration, and government reporting to allow you to use your retirement funds for non-standard investments. If you believe in complete retirement investment diversification and are looking for another source of capital to fund investments, then you should be taking advantage of this powerful retirement concept. Grow your retirement dollars in investments that you have control over, such as real estate, businesses, precious metals, and a host of other investment opportunities. We offer Roth and traditional IRAs, health savings accounts, Coverdell education IRAs, and the new Roth 401k. Visit us at entrustmidwest.com. That's ENTRUST Midwest.com. Or call for a private consultation, 763-559-5363. That's 763-559-5363. Entrust Midwest.
Why have Michelle Bachmann's poll numbers jumped off the charts? Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt. The latest issue of Town Hall magazine explains why Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann is a Tea Party favorite for the GOP presidential nomination. There's also an outstanding investigative report on how George Soros is trying to push the left-leaning media even further to the left. Month after month, Town Hall magazine delivers fresh, hard-hitting, intelligent reporting. Subscribe today at townhallmagazine.com and take advantage of a very special offer. That's townhallmagazine.com.
Most companies advertise to generate interest. At Rubicon Mortgage Advisors, they care about your best interest. They help you make life's big moves with the most comprehensive finance solutions that extend far beyond your current needs. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned real estate investor, you can expect unequaled personal service and a lifelong relationship. Visit RubiconMortgageAdvisors.com to learn more about their locally based luxury service experience. That's RubiconMortgageAdvisors.com.